Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to go through another live trade with you guys. So I took this trade on Tuesday, September 13th, and I made around $9,600 trading SPX. So I think this specific play is a great example of how to gauge futures, the NASDAQ and ES, with overall market sentiment, economic data. We had CPI numbers come out Tuesday, and how to be able to set your stop based off of all of that information and how to set your entries and exit points as well. So I'll go through all of that with you guys. As always, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so on Tuesday I was watching SPX below 40.20 and then above 40.40, so it had gapped down. We had CPI data that came out on Tuesday, which dropped the market. So SPX ended up gapping down. ES and NASDAQ also made a move down in the pre-market once the CPI data came out. So SPX ended up gapping down from around 41.10 down to around 40.37. So I was watching SPX above 40.40 for calls and below 40.20 for puts. 40.20 was a previous level of support that I had charted on SPX, so I was comfortable entering 40.20 for puts. So on this right side, I have my 2-minute and I have my 5-minute. So usually I enter SPX on the 1-minute time frame or the 2-minute time frame, depending on the level that I'm watching. And then from there, I'll monitor it on the 2 and 5-minute. I don't monitor SPX on the 1-minute. I actually don't monitor any trade that I take anymore on the 1-minute time frame. That being said, like I said, I was watching SPX below 40.20 for an entry for put. So I entered somewhere around here on SPX. I'll play the live video in a second, and you can see here that I did get caught and I pull back. So I'm going to go through kind of what my mindset was when this did start pulling back and why I ended up staying in this position. So if we take a look at the recording here, whoops, and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So it's 9:35. SPX is around 40.16, as you guys can hear, and there we go. It held below 40.20 there, and that is when I entered. So I entered SPX at 9:36, entered 20 contracts here on SPX at 9:36. Okay, so I waited for it to hold below my level of resistance or support. I apologize. So if we look at 9:36 on SPX, it was this 2-minute candle open. So you can see here, usually when it is within the first 10 minutes of market open, I do like to see a hold below or above the level of support or resistance that I have. That is the safest play to take. So you can see that at 9:36, SPX did end up holding below 40.20. Now, when it broke below 40.20, as we can see, it did end up retesting back up to its 9 EMA before it continued down. So my stop loss on this play was 40.30. That was the previous level of support on SPX, so I was comfortable keeping my stop loss there. My targets on this were 4,000 and then 39.90. I ended up holding my runners, I believe, to 39.80 just because that was the next level of support on ES. So I was comfortable holding a little bit longer on the runners. But I'll show you guys all of that. But you can see here, when I did enter SPX, it did end up pulling back. So I was down on SPX. So once I entered SPX at 40.20, my stop loss on it was 40.30. That was the previous level of support that I had on it. So I was comfortable setting my stop to that level, because as it breaks through those levels of support, if it does retest, it tends to retest back to those levels of support. Those levels of support then become resistant. So I was comfortable setting my stop at 40.30. I had targets on the way down of 4,000 and 39.90. I do believe I held some runners to 39.80 because as SPX was making its move down to 39.90 and 39.80, ES was making its move down to 4,000. So my target on ES as I was in this trade was 4,000. I did expect some support on ES around that 4,000 level just because it is a psychological level on ES futures. But if we look at the 2-minute and the 5-minute time frame, you can see here on the 5-minute, we see a clear bear flag here on SPX. So it is indicating that there is more bearish sentiment than bullish sentiment on this reversal. So you can see here it pulled back, created a nice little bear flag here on the 5-minute time frame. And then if we look at the 2-minute time frame, this bear flag isn't as clean, but if we look at the 2-minute time frame, it retests right to that 9 EMA. I have told you guys before, and I can make a video on this as well, my 9 EMA on the 2-minute time frame is the best combination ever if you are in a trade and you get caught in the pullback. I always recommend watching the stock that you're watching on the 2-minute time frame with a 9 EMA. It will help you not get shaken out as often, because as long as that ticker is holding below that 9 EMA on the 2-minute time frame, if you are scalping it, you are good to go. So I always pay attention to where the 9 EMA falls on that 2-minute time frame. And if we look here on SPX, you can see clearly retest right to that 9 EMA, close to 40.30, rejects the 9 EMA. You can even take the rejection of the EMAs. They are high probability setups. You can see that it did create a little trend line here. You can take the break of the trend line, enter on this 956 candle for a target of 4,000. This is also a good scalp to take right here if you take the break of the trend line and the rejection of the 9 EMA. Multiple different setups that you can take just utilizing the 9 EMA on the 2-minute time frame. So like I said here, it did pull back. I was down on SPX for a little while. However, I wasn't concerned. It was holding below my stop loss. It was holding below the EMA. On the 5-minute, we see a nice little bear flag. And if we take a look at ES futures, so I was waiting for ES futures to break 40.30. That was a level of support on it. And the only reason that SPX was holding is because ES was holding this 40.30 level of support. However, it was still trending below its 9 EMA on the 5-minute time frame. So ES futures still showed bearish sentiment. It just had to break below this 40.30 level for SPX to make the move down. So you can see here right at 955, as ES starts to break that 40.30 level, we see the 955 candle here and 56 candle. SPX starts to break that 40.20 level and the trend line out of the bear flag as well on the 5-minute. So if we go ahead and take a look, I'm going to forward some of this to around 9. So it was a little bit of time that I held this. I was down quite a bit. However, like I said, I don't pay attention to my P&L when I'm trading, especially if you're down. You don't want to pay attention to your P&L. You want to look at your stock. You want to follow your trading setup. My setup was there. My stop loss had not broken yet, so I was comfortable staying in the position. And if we forward this, all right, so it's 952 here. SPX starts to break around 955. So I'm going to forward a little bit more. All right, here's the 955 candle. So I got filled in at $23.10. Premium starts to pick back up here. It's around $20 now. Around that 955 candle is when SPX started to break back down. So it's the 955 SPX candle, and then this is the 955 ES futures candle as well. Also, this is the 955 here on the 5-minute. So you can see clearly starting to break out of that bear flag. Very, very clean bear flag here on the 5-minute here on SPX. Another play you could have potentially taken if you were watching this position. So, still at 955. I'm going to forward a little bit of this. Okay, 956. All right, so we can see here premium starts to pick back up around that $23. I'm still in the position. It's 956 now. So still in the play, it's now 957. This is your, it's right around this candle right here, so it's starting to break out of that level. Still in that ES 955 candle. Also around 10 a.m. you start to see market reversals or continuation, so it is getting close to that 10 a.m. It's 955 here, so around 10 a.m. you start to really see the market pick up direction on either side. So I was anticipating a 10 a.m. move here. On either side, it could have rejected my level or it could have continued down. It ended up continuing down. Overall, market ended up selling off later in the day, which I definitely missed. So we got about 2 minutes till 10 a.m. here. And we are at the 958 candle here on SPX. So this is that 958 candle, and we will start to see that premium spike on this 958 candle. Forward a little bit. Okay. You'll start to see the premium move. So it's 9:59. We have 3 seconds till 10 a.m. and there goes the premium and there goes SPX. So you should anticipate that around 10 a.m. usually one, we get economic data, and two, market starts to find direction around that 10 a.m. time frame. So you can see SPX is finally finding some direction. This is your 10 a.m. candle here, and then this is your 10 a.m. ES candle. ES broke out of 40.30, which is what's giving SPX the momentum to make the move to the downside. The next level I had on ES was 4,000, like I said. So as ES approaches 4,000, I want to see SPX also approach 4,000, and then 39.90 and 39.80. Those are the next levels down. So just anticipate that whatever price targets that you have on anything that you're watching, if NASDAQ futures and ES futures are approaching a psychological level of support or resistance, you will tend to see some support there. So you do want to pay attention to those levels. So we're around that 10 a.m. I'm just going to forward a little bit more. And there we go. SPX starts to pick up. We're around 10:01. And there you go. I sold out of my entire position. I ended up making $9,598, and I sold out of the position at 10:01. I did end up actually catching another scalp on SPX below 4,000, I believe it was. Let me check when the 10:01 candle is. So I exited SPX on this candle here on the push down. So I locked my entire position. I then entered another scalp on SPX later in the day that I didn't end up recording below 4,000, and I caught that to 39.90. So that was the second play that I actually took. But this play right here, you can see premium made a nice spike. I entered at $23.10. I filled out at $27.92, and I ended up making almost $9,600. Now, if you had bought just one contract, that one contract would have cost you around $2,300. The contract would have went to close to $2,800. So you would have made almost $500 in that probably 40-minute time span that you held SPX in. Again, I did end up taking another trade on SPX later in the day. I don't think I recorded that one. No, I didn't. But it was the 4,000 break on SPX, and you can see how clean on the 2-minute here that 4,000 break on SPX is. Makes a nice clean break on the 2-minute down to 39.80, and the same thing on SPX. Our ES here breaks 40.20, makes a clean move down to 4,000. So this is a great way to kind of see what futures is doing in comparison to SPX. It was a really, really clean day. There's not a lot of days where you get clean price action. Even though there was pullbacks here, you can see that the pullbacks were holding below its EMAs. Right here, we get a little bit of a pullback above the EMA, but overall, the trend is still in place on the 5-minute, and the trend on ES futures is also still in place on the 5-minute. So this is also another good example of why we use multi-time frame analysis, and why you don't want to just watch your position on the 1-minute time frame or just on the 2-minute time frame. You still want to pay attention to also the 5. So the 1, 2, and 5-minute are the time frames that I pay attention to when I'm scalping. Especially if you get caught in a pullback, you do want to move over to multi-time frame analysis and make sure that the stock is holding your stop losses on both the 2-minute and 5-minute time frame as well. So these were two really great setups on SPX here. I called them both live in my Discord. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or if you have any video suggestions, anything that you would like to see or learn, go ahead and comment them down below. Don't forget to follow me on my social media sites. Everything is linked in the description below. Please don't follow any scam accounts, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!